Um,
Yeah.
there was I don't remember the time, but I mean they were sieging. I think it was when the Nocturne dove the six. Just that whole sequence, like leading up to it as well.
Yeah.
It was really clear. Like to me, it was really clear that they were super desperate. Like they didn't know what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to siege and like
Yeah.
they
That,
couldn't
that
really
was
do it.
really my bad that I died there. I
No,
should
but
have
yeah, but
what
I
about
mean,
Kula?
it was not just about you. I mean, it was just like the way you were talking in the comms. Like it sounded to that like all of you. It sounded like you were thinking that oh we need to do something instead of just like
Sure.
wave,
We
wave
don't.
clearing pretty much.
Yeah, but we don't.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Like we don't have to do anything.
I have
Yeah.
to say, like we've played similar stuff from like multiple games already. And it just feels fucking awful to play
Yeah.
to do nothing. Like the whole fucking game, basically.
Yeah.
Like
But,
it just
I mean,
feels really bad to like never.
Yeah, but I mean, like sometimes, like if they draft the team comp like this, then you
Yeah, but I
mean,
think
like-
we can draft around that as well. Because of the draft, the game becomes like this. Mostly. Like, even if the game's closer than this, like in terms of kills, it's still going to be like a very similar fashion. Like, there will be less ahead, so you have a bit more room to farm and stuff, and you have to be a little bit less scared of the Nocturne. But in general, I think it kind of
but I mean, if we could compare it to
Actually-
the game you played before this one, then I mean, sure, it was a similar style, but like you could do you could do stuff way earlier, and I think you could have done that this game as well if you didn't play the way you did in the early game. But I mean, like I don't know, like I think that's kind of weird. I mean, I get that you have certain styles that you're comfortable, but like more comfortable playing and so on. And like yeah, but still, like at the end of the day, you should be playing to win, like not. I mean, you're saying it feels awful, but I mean, if you know how to play it, and like you know that okay, if we do this, then we win, and then you just like you get bored or something, then I don't know, that feels weird.
No, but just feels
Right
pretty
there,
awful to
I
never-
think if you set there, I think we kill set at the very least. After I hit barrel on set.
Like, I mean, I understand your point. Like, yeah, you have to just wait out the game to get your items and then eventually beat them. That's fine. But I mean, that's kind of just playing for scaling. But just in general, like, never being able to answer with something, that feels bad. Like, I don't think having superior scaling and playing, like, not being able to trade back something, that's kind of like what feels bad, I think. Because you just see them, and that's partially because we died at like random times and stuff in this
Yeah.
game. But it's happened in different games where we had like drafts where we just kind of cannot answer, and it like partially is due to game stuff, but I think it's partially draft as well. That just makes it a lot harder because you get in that situation a lot more often. And I think that just makes it really, because kind of what you require is to play fucking perfect if you want to sit it out and wait, because then you're
No,
relying on
I really don't agree with it. I think it's a lot easier to play like this. Like not having the responsibility to do something is easier than having the responsibility. Like they're playing on a huge timer, especially this game, because like they basically have no late game at all against our team comp. So they're playing like they're really like if I could hear
Making desperate plays.
yeah, if you guys could, I think if you guys could hear them, like their comms, they would like sound really desperate, especially why during the sieges.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, can we go back like 2 minutes or something?
I started watching like here.
Yeah.
Like here where they're
Um,
sieging it. I'll go back a little.
Let's check. Pause.
This
I want
is-
to see. Okay, so they're 5k ahead. I think that's fine. They have one rake up. Okay.
GP is kind of equal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Play it from here. Okay. First of all, I don't think 6 should be the one in bot.
In the side wave.
Yeah.
It maybe should have been GP.
Yeah. At the same time, I haven't built for this shit. I was
I mean,
also avoiding knock.
I mean, it could even be me.
Yeah. It could be
But
the
I guess-
could be the Silas as well.
I think this is fine, but at this point, like, it's over. Like, this TP was also pretty random. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
dude,
we
I
don't
can't see.
we don't need.
All I
I know,
see
I
is
know,
Orn
but-
ult and knock ult.
Just, yeah, but it was our Ornult.
Yeah, but that's
know.
that's a good trade for us. Like the Ornament
Yeah,
for
but
the
GPC is the knock ult.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He doesn't see what's going on. and
yeah.
it's
So
just
that was obviously another thing. Like your communication
Like, we
around
were-
the Nocturne
bit
ult was
poor,
really
yeah.
bad. And I think I'm pretty sure about the ping. I don't think you can see them on the unless you're standing like next to where the ping is. Then you can see it on your around your character, but you can't see it on the map.
Yeah, I mean, then everyone needs to start using fucking F keys.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah, but
That's the
but
counter to Nocturne.
the other thing when you say okay, Nocturne is on me, you can also say yeah, he's like tier 2 top tower, like something
Yeah.
that's a reference to like where on the map he is.
Yeah.
But also you should like have a general idea where.
I don't know if you can see, but so much here.
I think this was a very good, like they showed us what you can do with flex picks. Like we literally didn't know who went where at all until we
didn't
won the
really
game.
matter. Didn't
Well,
really-
it kind of did because like we picked the GP thinking Seth was top, for example.
but
Well,
that's-
that wasn't that was not the sole reason, but
And you pick 6 because you think Syndra's mid. Like there's
no, like again not the sole reason, but yeah,
Six
I
is
mean
also
sure,
flexible
like
for us.
flex picks are really good. I don't think this is a good example of like how you should use flex picks, but yeah, I mean like it makes you confused and so on, but
It was definitely playable.
yeah, I mean yeah,
This was
it
more
was.
so.
like
it
this,
I mean,
like I think this is one of the biggest.
yeah, that was big mistake
Like
by me.
in terms of like pure team comp difference, I think this is one of the like biggest draft wins we've had. Like from, I think their team comp is totally shit. Like they have so much, they have so much
they have to
responsibility
win in mid.
to get
They have to
ahead.
win in mid or they don't win at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
and it's really hard for them to get like even just getting a lead early on. Like I think bot
No,
lane
for me-
bot lane they have a lot of kill potential, but at the same time you should be safe to pretty much farm it out. And then we know the Nocturne has to pretty much get level 6 before he can do anything, and then playing like you can usually play around his ult, especially when we have 2 global ults and 2 TPs with the 6 and the GP. It should be really hard for him to get anything, and we can itemize against it like Sonius and Sterex and Gia and so on. Yeah, and yeah, I mean like their team comp is really predictable. Like it's really clear what they have to do, and you know it beforehand. The only thing that's unclear is like which lanes they were gonna go to, but either way, like the GP is gonna be okay against all of them pretty much. The 6 is gonna be okay against all of them. And then yeah, the bot lane is like bot lane they're gonna have priority most likely, and they have good kill potential. But I mean we have Ezreal, so it's not that big of a deal.
Well, it is as you say. Like in terms of draft, this is a win. Like if you play the 40-minute game, we just win. It's just I
Like,
think in terms of
it shouldn't go to 40. Like if you play it
it-
properly, you win like 25 or something. I would
Yeah.
say.
Well, it just needs like it also needs like a mental switch. Like it's
Yeah.
not the way that you normally play, and it just requires a mental switch. And I don't think the draft is the reason at all that we lost. I mean, we just get impatient and we just die
Yeah.
in places we shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean that sums up the game.
Yeah, and that's like that's a big thing. But I think we've. I mean we've done
Look
like.
these nuts, look these nuts. Fucking beast.
Sacrificial lamb.
But yeah, we played like I think we've tried like a lot of different team comps now. We played both like early game or like hard engage types, and we played like kind of middle ground comps. We played like really pokey comps. I guess this is one of those, and like just pure outscaling. And it's really clear that you're oftentimes becoming like either becoming impatient or like not properly assessing like the game state, like not realizing okay we're actually super fine here, or yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
we feel forced to do shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But we don't have to.
But like in terms of like what I think you guys are like comfortable playing and what like or a combination of what you're comfortable with what's like
And by the way-
what's also good is when we have kind of a mix. Like for example when we had like last scrim when we had the Wukong top and the J4 jungle and then Zoe Ezreal and Thresh. I think that was
Yeah.
kind of a the synergy isn't perfect, but we have like the draft can do a lot of different stuff, and we can accomplish stuff early on and so on. And yeah, I think those styles are like what fits us the best. But it's at the same time it's really important to be able to like play different types of team comp. But most importantly, it's important to be able to realize like which team is ahead, or like which team is ahead at certain points, and like when are we strong, and like because you have to know that like regardless, like even if we play the same team comp every game, then we still have to know about then like what are the strengths of the enemy team comp, because that's going to be different from game to game. So yeah, I think that's something we need to work on in general.
Yeah, I think that's something you should start looking at when you have the team all settled, because right now we're in like there's a period of trialing. So.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, like I think we're making a lot of progress as well. I mean, like the example, like the team comp that I made as an example with the Zoe and the Ezreal, and then the Wukong and etc. I think that kind of like that team comp, I don't think we would have played well at all. Like when we started out, or like when I joined the team. So I think we're making a lot of progress. Like the Sigs for you, Davros, I think you made a lot of progress on it. The Ezreal has been like really good progress. Or like, and also like how we play around those types of champions as well. But yeah, I mean, obviously we should we should figure out like how we want to like play, well, like what types we want to play and how we want to move forward. But but like also, I mean, you also have to like know beforehand like how much you're willing to compromise a draft. Because like if the enemy is picking stuff that there is like a really clear counter which just shuts down the entire team comp pretty much. Then we like have to know beforehand. Okay, are we willing to pick that? Because like it's pretty much a free win. Like even without, like you can play it far from perfectly, it will still be a free win. But if it's not our style, then like maybe we don't like either way we don't want to do it. But yeah, that's something we have to like figure out beforehand. But yeah, I mean that's I think that's the main reason we have to play, or like I draft different types of team comps like between the games. It's because it depends a lot on what the enemy does, and like it's not just about counter picks in like isolation in certain lanes. It's about like theme counters.
Cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Cohesion.
Yeah. Cohesion, but also like how the champion works against like the theme of the enemy team comp, or like how. Yeah, I mean you can like predict, like if they pick. So in this game they picked, what did they pick? They had first pick. They picked this. Did they pick the Syndra? No, they picked the set, right? So even with only the set, like the set is really flexible in terms of like the lanes he can go to. Like he can go to pretty much any lane. But he's not very flexible in what he does. Like he pretty much only goes in. Like you could argue you can, like I mean you could peel somewhat, or like you can look to use him to like do a lot, like try to ult a tank into a into the enemy team, or like you can do like some flexibility in terms of what he does in fights, but usually you need to run at him pretty much. He doesn't have like long range, or he doesn't have so you like even then you can know that okay, they're probably like either they're gonna follow up the set pick with other champs that goes in, or they're gonna have to like make the set less valuable by like let's say they pick the set and then they pick Ziggs and Ezreal, then the set is gonna feel really bad because it's gonna be hard for him to do like the same thing that or like it's gonna be hard for him to navigate in the fights. Like it's kind of similar to when you played the Yoran, when you played the Wukong, and we had a lot of Yeah, you played it several games now, and I think all of the games we've had a lot of poke, and that's like our way of. I think with the Wukong, I think you can make it work, but you can make it work with the set as well. But you kind of feel that it feels a bit weird in the fights.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that as well. Like you're not used to playing that way, and and it feels kind of weird like playing that kind of a champion which want to like go in and hard engage and or find a flank or something, but the rest of the champs wants to just like chill and sit back and just poke.
Yeah. At the same time, you kind of need to be in between for if they are engaged, but you also want to flank. It's such a weird position actually to be in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you need to have like good balance and like good synergy between the champions, and also like react to what the enemy is doing and try to counter it.
Yep. I mean, yeah, take some practice. I'm definitely more used to just hard engaging.
Yeah. I mean, it's really you don't have to like think as much, or like you don't have to think as much like in the heat of the moment, because like when you pull the trigger, then things pretty much go automatically, right? Just okay, I see an opportunity to go in, and then I just go in pretty much, and then while as but then the way that like those types of team comps, the way they become really hard to play is when you realize that okay, we have a timer, so we know that we have to do stuff like early on, but also
because you'll get sloppy.
But also if like let's say the enemy team has like we have a hard engaged comp, but the enemy team has I don't know, they have Maokai and they have Cillian and they have what else, like Tom Kench or something, I don't know, like just a lot of like peeling and like defensive champs. Then you, like it's gonna be harder to find angles and so
yeah. I mean, I think it's still a good comp. I think we played fine. But it definitely helps if I play Wukong and we play poke. If our jungler is a tank, it makes my role way easier. Like it's the same for like Silas in his team comp. Silas can do way more if I'm a tank in a similar way.
That is a good point actually. I actually like if I was not like thinking about you like watch like comfort at all, I would go with the Sejuani this game. When did we pick the Silas? It was third. Was it third pick? We picked. They picked.
Israel is what we answered with.
Yeah.
I think, and then they picked Syndra Ornn.
Yeah.
And they already had the set, so they had set Syndra Ornn, and then we answered with Silas.
Yeah. So I would have gone with the Sejuani probably, or like a tank. But I think the Silas is fine. But I mean, it depends how you play it. I would have built it more tanky and like be more.
Minute back.
You have to be super defensive with it. Yeah.
I think
as I said, like during the second fight of the game, I probably should have gone Aftershock instead. This game.
Yeah. Aftershock probably would have been nice, and then just built more tanky in general. I don't think you need a proto belt this game, because like again
we're gonna walk into you anyway.
Yeah. I think you could have even gone for like adaptive helm or something like that. I think that would actually been really good against all of their magic dealing champs. Would have been really good. I'm not sure if it should work against the Ornn W, right? It does work against both the Rumble Q and the Syndra ulti at least, which is really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like the takeaway is that you need to be kind of flexible in all stages of the game, and like in draft and in like your itemization and like how you play out certain games, and how you play certain champions. So like some champions you play really similar regardless of how the game goes, like for example, Fiora, she's always gonna split push basically. Like sometimes she's gonna find a flank, but generally she's just in a side lane, just split pushing. So then, like if you play a champ like that, then you don't have to adapt that much. Like I mean, if you're against a lot of AP, then you might buy a Hex Drinker or something. But I mean, there's not gonna be that much variation from game to game. But if you're playing something like J4, for example, then like some games you're gonna go like full AD, like Glass Cannon, because you know there's a target that you can, like if you can blow him up and trade you for them, then you're gonna win the fight. Sometimes you're gonna go full tank, sometimes you're gonna go off tank or like bruiser, and like you're gonna play the fights differently. Sometimes you're just gonna dive in, and sometimes you ult in and you EQ out. Sometimes you just try to peel for a carry, or sometimes you fly.
Well, that's part of learning a champion, basically. Learning like the variety of stuff.
Yeah, but
that's why it's good to play like a small champion pool, basically, because then you learn those all the different ways of playing it the quickest.
Yeah, but then it becomes even harder because it's not the same as in solo queue. Because now we have, now we have control of all the champions. Like now we can actually set it up so it becomes favorable for like.
Yeah, but you can still meet all the styles in solo queue, because there is gonna be games where someone picks a tank in your team and you play bruiser version, and you will be playing like the AD version as an assassin.
Yeah.
And it also depends on like the game state, based on like how fed are you from the early game and all that shit.
Yeah.
And what's your role among in the team?
Yeah.
But is there anything else we want to see in the game? By the way, this is where you communicate about Nocturnals, because we fucking ran it towards you blindly. We were all like, nothing was communicated till like this point where you said it, and then we all saw like this trail basically, so we were all like running towards it blindly, and then we just got like fucking mask out.
But I mean, just that, like, why are we even outside of the base right now? Like, it's, I don't know.
I mean, basically everyone's in base besides Silas.
Yeah, but
I
even
was looking for wards.
Yeah, it's not useful here. It doesn't matter.
You don't need.
Everyone's like playing pretty safe.
Yeah, we don't need vision at all, and like their vision doesn't matter either. At this point, I mean, what we should do right now is we should have 3 or 4 blue trinkets, and the rest should be red trinkets, and just pretty much wait in base until they're like off the map for a long time. Then we use 1 blue trinket to, like, if we have to, we use 1 blue trinket like in our jungle to see if they're trapping us, and if they're not, they're probably on Baron, so then we use 1 blue trinket on Baron, or like just use logic to like figure out what they're doing. Wait.
Why is it highlighting some of these?
I guess we could have like in the early game, like some of the
kills, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we gave a few like really cheap kills in the early game.
These are fucked.
I think this probably could have been avoided as well. Yeah, this was nice. Yeah, like at this point, like I mean it's and even here like 12-30, like it's that even, like it's like from this point you can just like it's pretty much smooth sailing even from here, if you just like don't like try to force stuff, especially when you can try to look for kills and so on, but you all, like in this game in particular, you try to do it on the Ornn every time, which was like super tanky.
Drop it here, like now. Doesn't that like work?
Probably.
Like I think if you lantern just before this moment, when Set's like next to you, I think that's best, because then they have to choose between you and me. And I still have Ian Flash.
Yeah, I wonder if it's good that I TP this.
Like here,
no,
lantern here. Like.
Yeah, you shouldn't tip it.
Okay.
This is, what do you answer this, or you do? I mean, this is fucking.
But yeah, it's like it's really hard to.
Either I get out or I don't.
Yeah, my bad then.
Yeah, but it's hard to like assess that. It's like
Like
really,
if you wanna TP this, you have to TP before the other guy even TPs.
Yeah.
Just as this.
yeah, like when we see the set,
Then let's see,
Like
if
right
you wanna
now, pretty
TP,
yeah, right
you
now
have
you need to TP
TP
this.
like now.
Mhm.
Like the moment Syndra steps up, like here, this is when you TP.
Mhm.
Then you TP like behind the Syndra, you can make her like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna commit to this or not? And then they will probably just like try and run because then
We actually
turn
might have been
tables.
able to win it. Like yeah, if we
Yeah.
TP it before the. If
you
the,
TP
if
like
the
here,
if we Thrasher
will
use
push.
Lantern early and the GP TP on the creep behind the Syndra, and then the Sigs and the Silences on their way, I think we might be able to win. Nocturne does have, yeah, he does have ult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
Ziggs has TP as well to answer even.
But in general, like
It's
when
kind of-
when we have like this kind of a team comp, or like when we know that we pretty much want to avoid fights rather than look for them, a lot of the time it can be really useful to just like if they commit, like in the early game they used or maybe it was late, but they used double TP top lane. Do you remember that? Like when they go for stuff like that, it's super worth for us. We can just like take it as a trade and just like keep farming on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And like
They
just
used even
if they want to
TPs.
force dives and like use like commit TPs and like really hard commit for like getting a couple kills and like maybe a tower, then like that's totally fine for us. We're getting a lot of farm on like free farm on the other side. Especially like it's really important in like for the GP in particular, because then like if the GP gets a lot stronger than the Rumble or like the Nocturne or whatever, then we know that the GP is always going to be able to match whoever tries to go into a side lane. And yeah,
Like now it's actually just fucked. Like I have no option to go in or now because I would have to E over and I can't E anymore. I actually think if you have to lantern early here. I think you have to lantern like here because Syndra's still out of range right now, and like the longer you wait, the closer she gets. Like I'm fucked here.
Yeah.
Even if I somehow manage to E over him and click lantern, but
yeah, but it was like a really small window, I think. So it's pretty
yeah,
hard to-
it was a small window, but I think you
Yeah.
have to lantern early.
Yeah.
Set's gonna ult someone probably, but there's a chance that if he doesn't time it correctly, he doesn't cancel lantern and he ults me towards tower, then we're out. And otherwise, like, he's gonna ult me, and then if I still survive, I can like E flash. So the highest chance of survival would be ult like lantern early. We should either commit the TP earlier as well, or not at all.
Yeah, probably the safest bet is just to like let them, like once you see the TP, just okay, let them.
Once
get-
they TP, it's kind of too late.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to make like a turn, I think it was a fine turn actually, even with this kind of comp. Like the moment Syndra walked past the wave, there wasn't like a moment to TP if you wanted to
Yeah,
turn it.
yeah, she is in a pretty
Because then
awkward.
they have to commit as well. Then the
Yeah.
Ornn has to reply. Like you force him, and you kind of because you TP faster, they will like question it maybe,
I
unless
think we
they
all
already
die.
called it.
If they commit, we all die. If or me and
Just
Rumble
like-
TP similar at a similar time,
Rumble doesn't
we all
have
die.
TP.
Somebody.
I was the
TP.
Ornn TP from.
We have TP and Ziggs as well, so we can turn it. We always have +1.
Oh yeah, okay, true. Then it's fine.
We always have +1. Like if we
Okay,
commit,
yeah.
if we full commit to it, we always have +1 if they reply.
Yeah.
Like the moment that, like if you TP for the play, we turn it. That's 3v2. If Ornn decides to counter TP, and then Ziggs is like, okay, well Ornn's TP and I will TP as well.
Yeah.
So,
But
like,
then
the
like
only thing is
we,
that Ornn Rumble gets free top at that time.
Yeah. yeah, I mean if we're +1, like if we know we're +1, then like usually it's gonna be worth. But then always keep in mind
Yeah,
that
you would have to
like
commit
they.
it.
Yeah, but then always like you always need to keep in mind that they want to fight. Like they always like they have to fight.
I don't
Uh,
think they win, even at this stage. They don't
Yeah,
win.
yeah, I think you win if you all.
Down
Alright.
one person.
I'm back. I'm really sorry.
Alright.
Sometimes I get really random nosebleeds and it's pretty bad.
Oh,
So
Shit.
it's like Niagara Falls, but blood.
did you manage to stop it? Or do you have like
Yeah,
a
so-
do you have like a paper up your nose now, or
Yeah, at the moment.
yeah, it's fine.
But you know what happened here.
But even here, like you're not that behind at this stage.
I mean, it's mostly those few kills from
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
The rest isn't really. Farm-wise, like, we're pretty equal. Like, top is slightly ahead. It's
Yeah.
slightly ahead. Bot's equal. Like, the only goal difference is mostly kills, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like 4
Yeah.
assists and Syndrome.
I know. I'm also just farming with coal, so I'm like actually far ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think we talked about the important stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think I'm
If
also.
if I missed something important, like some of my mistakes, feel free to like PM me the things that you found. If not,
The
I
only
Yeah,
thing
sure,
I
sure.
said in the meantime, you were gone for the second time, was after this happened. Let's see. Either if we want to commit, that we either TP here
yeah.
right now, like before the ATP, and if we wait till now, it's like it's too late. 'Cause
Yeah.
now we start TPing this and then like.
Yeah.
And we said if we do this, if we commit to TP,
I should TP as well.
like did we make it 3v2 basically, and then if they counter TP, then you TP as well.
Yeah.
So we're always like 1-up basically.
Yeah.
Because Rumble doesn't have TP. That's the only way we can do this. That's kind of whatever. But
Yeah.
you really talked
All right.
that's important for you, I guess. But that's something that we have to like start recognizing as well. That if,
Yeah.
especially if we're playing this style, I think because it's a reactionary play. Like they want to go for the play, and we can answer. We have like a
We
better
have
answer.
the number like
Yeah, exactly. We have
Yeah.
the number advantage with TP, so we can counter
Yeah.
that and actually turn it into a lead.
But
Yeah.
what you said about like when you start using F keys, I think that's a really good point. Like even if you have really good communication,
Sure.
it's always gonna be better to like see it yourself, like from that
Yeah.
certain champion.
It's mostly against the champ like Nocturne. It's super noticeable.
Yeah.
Like that's the easiest way to figure out where he is if you just like F key everyone real quick.
But I don't, you don't see them, do you?
You see the Q. You see the Nocturne Q.
Yeah, you see the queue.
Ah,
That's it.
right. Yeah.
Like this. Wait, what was it? The fight before? Fuck, what was the time? Was it? That we did the top thing. I don't remember.
But,
what it was.
I think F keys are really good in general. Like
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's pretty hard to get used to the.
yeah.
But you see this like dust trail on the ground. That's what you can see. True.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, whenever Nocturne lands on someone and he uses Q because he always does it, then you know where he is. So you'll always be late. But I mean that's part of the ability, I guess, unless you have a spell shield. Don't lose vision. Poor. Like look at this fucking monster. He just doesn't give a fuck. This was so like hard because he got turbo fed with those kills. He was so
Yeah.
fucking tanky.
I think in the early game, I think we should have let. I mean, I think even the first gank you did, on mid, you managed to shunk the Ornn
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but you took some XP from the Sigs, and like that, then you made some other ganks, which
What
was
was
also,
it roughly? Do you know?
yeah, it was
Which
like
one?
I think it was like 3 minutes or something, like really early, or like four.
Really?
4
Oh
minutes.
yeah, I ganked mid after red.
Here?
Like 3 minutes, I think.
Uh,
Round. But like even before, like look at right now, like this is super good for Sig. Like this is totally fine as it is. The Sigs is like zoning the Ornn by himself. So now you're taking some XP from the Sigs, which actually, like I think if we just play like we just let Sigs play against Ornn by himself basically, and then like if the Ornn is inting, we can punish him over
shit.
it. But
he did start topside. What the fuck?
I think the Ornn was a lot bigger than he should have been this game. Like even with those kills, I don't think he should have been able to. I think we could have shut him down just like with the Sigs himself, because like it's really oppressive for the Ornn. Like any melee pretty much against the Sigs, really hard. And you have full control of the lane. That we could just play for. We could just play for Drake control as well. Just like always
Yeah.
having priority with the Sigs.
Yeah, like, wait, who the fuck called that Nocturne started bot side?
I think it was me. It was my bad, I guess. I mean,
I mean, it didn't matter because we warded anyway. But
it was me. It was me and the jungler. We really thought he was doing a full clear, like he was doing red golems into
Yeah,
raptors.
we topside.
Yeah, he started topside. I didn't notice the blow. Yeah, it was my
Actually
bad.
later as well, so it was visible in lanes.
Yeah, we fucked
I
up
think
on
it was
that.
because he maybe you didn't know he cleared that fast because you saw him on the. You saw
we
him.
saw him here.
Yeah, you saw him on the raids like soon.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
So then maybe
That's
you
fine.
thought that okay he started red and then he went golems
Yeah.
and then raids, but he actually clears faster. So
Yeah, that was my bad and maybe the junglers, but probably most my.
I mean, I just fucking forgot like where he started. Like they were in lane, so I wasn't sure. I didn't pay attention to top lane. And that's why
Yeah.
I like oh fuck.
but actually
That's my bad as
like
well.
we could have actually known because.
Yeah, Rumble was late, like actually, and they were in
No,
lane
no,
already.
but even if we didn't see like in the early game, because when you see his farm when you see him, so when you see it, okay, it has 12 minion kills. He couldn't have taken red and golems. He would have had 8 then.
If you watch him, you usually see the buff. That's way easier. Like,
Yeah, that as well. Yeah. Yeah, but that's just a good thing in general. Like if you, I think every camp is 4 creeps, right? Or is there?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like you can always like do some quick maths and know like how many camps he's taken. So then you know like okay he has so now he's taken 4 camps. Yeah.
This looks so juicy to just walk into. Dude, imagine like walking into that as like an enemy. Holy fuck, you're dead.
Like a Leeson.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually heading off though. It's taking so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will
we
be
don't
heading
have
off
to-
too.
It's totally fine.
We don't have anything
All right.
special.
So
I'm heading off too then.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be leaving and
We're playing again on Friday. I don't
Yeah,
think
see you on Friday.
See you guys on
Okay.
Friday.
See you on Friday.
See you guys.
So I guess.
Bye guys.
Later.